All right, number 9 wants us to factor the polynomial completely. They want us to use the conjugate root theorem if applicable. What we want to do, just to save some time, I'm going to graph it with a calculator. Now, you can, let me just show real quick. You can use the rational zero theorem. So we have f of x is equal to x to the 6th plus 11x to the 4th minus 76x squared plus 64. So the rational zero theorem, you would take constant term divided by leading coefficient. So that'd be 64 over 1. Now since it's 1, you only need the factors of 64. So your possible zeros will be all the factors of 64. So 1, 2, 4, and then let me kind of skip over. So 1 times 64, 2 and 32, 4 times 16. I know 8 times 8, but I can't think if I'm missing something else. 64 as prime factors. So the best way for me to list all the factors would be 64. Let's just say 8 times 8. 2 and 4, 2 and 4. So that's prime, and then we got 2, 2, 2, 2. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 2s. All right, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so if you break a number down into prime factorization and you just count in order from 1 all the way up to see what's missing. So you get 1 in itself, and then if I do 2, one of the 2's here, then the other 5 2's, 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 should be the 32. And if I use 2 2's, that would give me 4. 2 times 2 is 4. And then 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, that gives me the 16. So if I did 3 2's, that would give me 8. So 8 and 8, that's the last one. I don't know why I was thinking there would be another one, but if you have a bigger number, that would be the best way to do it. So the possible numbers that will work would be positive and negative 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, or 64. I don't want to try all these and play the guessing game. So what I'm going to do is use a calculator. So you can do these and figure out which one or a few of them that work. You'd have to kind of find 4 of them before you can get down to quadratic. But I'm going to use a calculator and see which ones work, and then from there I will do synthetic division, and then from there do quadratic formula if needed. So let me see if I can downsize this a little bit. All right, so I'm going to go to y equal and graph this. Y equal, clear out what's there. I'm going to do x raised to the 6th plus 11 x to the 4th minus 76 x squared plus 64. All right, we're going to graph and see if we can see a few zeros. All right, so it looks like maybe -1 and -2, +1 and +2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, so we're going to use -1 and +1, -2 and +2, and then we'll be left with the quadratic, and then from there we can find the other zeros because we want to factor it completely. So what this tells us from looking at the graph, we know that these are our factors right here without having to try all these other ones. And then that means x plus 1 is a factor, x minus 1, x plus 2, and x minus 2. Coming from x equals negative 1 for that one, x equals positive 1, and that would be that one because it's going to be opposite signs. And then x equals negative 2, and x equals positive 2. So we're going to use these numbers to do synthetic division one at a time, and then once we use all 4 of them, we'll have a quadratic, and then we'll solve quadratic formula. So we have a 6, we're missing 5, we got a 4, missing 3, got a 2, missing 1, and then 0. So I got a lot of missing terms, 1, 2, 3 of them. So I'm going to do negative 1 first. Negative 1 is going to be the first number in my box, and I'm going to list my coefficients. 1, 0, and then 11, and then 0, and then negative 76, and then 0, and then 64. So that is my 6th degree, 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st, 0. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So here's all my terms. Bring the first term straight down. Negative 1 times 1, negative 1, combine, negative 1. Negative 1 times negative 1, positive 1, combine, we get 12. Negative 1 times 12, negative 12, combine, and we get negative 12. Negative 1 times negative 12, that is going to give us a positive 12, combine, and we get a negative 64. Negative 1 times negative 64 is a positive 64, combine, we get 64. And then negative 1 times 64, negative 64, combine, and we get 0. So that's what we expected. All right, so since I got a 0, I can just continue. So we just confirmed the first one. Now we're going to do positive 1 and just keep going. You can keep going if you find a 0. Bring down the first term. 1 times 1 is 1. Combine, we get a 0. 1 times 0 is 0. Combine, we get 12. 1 times 12 is 12. Combine, we get 0. 1 times 0 is 0. Combine, negative 64. Negative 64. 1 times negative 64, negative 64. Combine, we get 0. All right. And now we're going to do negative 2. Bring the first number straight down. Negative 2 times 1, negative 2, combine, negative 2. Negative 2 times negative 2, positive 4, combine, we get 16. Negative 2 times 16 will give us a negative 32, combine, negative 32. Negative 2 times, let me make sure. We haven't made some mistake. It's looking like it's not going to come out. Negative 2, negative 2. Negative 2 is positive 4. That gives us 16. Negative 2. Yeah, that's a negative. I'm sorry. That's why I'm missing my negatives there. So negative 2 times 32 is a positive 64. That gives us 0. All right, so that's what we expected. And then positive 2 is the last one that we know for sure. Positive 2. And then bring down the 1. 2 times 1 is 2. Combine, 0. 2 times 0 is 0. Combine, you get 16. 2 times 16 is 32. Combine, you get 0. Okay, so I'm left with a quadratic. So this was a 6th degree. And once I did it once, this row started with the x to the 5th. Did it again, this is x to the 4th. Did it again, this is x to the 3rd. And then we get down here, and this is x to the 2nd. Okay, so this starts out x squared plus 16 equals 0. And then solving this, we would subtract 16, so we get x squared equals negative 16. And you would have to take the square root of both sides. So that would give you x, and then you cannot take the square root of a negative, so you have equals positive or negative 4i. Square root of 16 is 4, but because of the negative, it becomes imaginary. So, as linear factors, you're looking at x plus 4i and x minus 4i. So let's write this as linear factors with all the ones that we had from the beginning. X plus 1, x minus 1, x plus 2, x minus 2, x plus 4i, x minus 4i.